WingMakers Philosophy, Chamber 4, Beliefs and their Energy Systems. Mind-Soul Comprehension Technique. This technique involves the knowledge of the new psychology destined to reach humanity in the 21st century. This is the psychology that integrates metaphysics and the spiritual perceptions of the genetic mind with the science of the brain and the shaping influences of culture and personal genetics. Individual entities acquire their psychological acumen by studying behaviors and their consequences in others, such as family members or friends. It is the byproduct of this psychological study that helps to establish an entity's own behavioral boundaries. When psychology ignores the incomprehensible, the psychology of the species is mostly based on the phenomenon of observable behavior. As psychology evolves, it increasingly takes into account the brain, mind, and emotional interplay. The incomprehensible is first source and the structure and interconnectedness of its creation. Human psychology has ignored this aspect of the human condition, venturing only as far as the dream state, which, by comparison, would be the equivalent of standing on a mountain top, reaching for the sun. The human condition is considered untouched by the incomprehensible, and yet it is encompassed in it like a caterpillar within a cocoon. If the caterpillar were untouched by the cocoon, would it emerge a butterfly? The mind-soul comprehension technique focuses the mind on the incomprehensible through the use of visual symbols that are just outside the intelligible regions of comfort as set forth by human psychology. By investigating visual symbols through the eye brain, the mind can secure a glimpse into the sovereign integral consciousness and the special psychology therein. An entity may, through an imaginative scenario based on a tributary zone, gain comprehension of the new psychology. The technique is admittedly abstract, but very effective. In this visual scenario, the mind becomes a personal identity, as does the soul. Together, these two identities coexist on an otherwise deserted island. The mind has discovered the symbols of the WingMakers chamber paintings and must explain their purpose to the soul. Neither the mind nor the soul speaks the same language, and thus the mind must explain the symbols' purpose to the soul through telepathic means. Examine one of the chamber paintings, conducting a thorough mental analysis. Once completed, you may now take this knowledge and translate your understanding to your soul, bringing it comprehension without language. This is highly conceptual, but it is designed to be this way for a purpose, and the insights that will result are profound and far-reaching because they demonstrate how the mind-soul comprehension operates to enrich the mind's understanding of the incomprehensible. Comprehension of the incomprehensible does not flow from the soul to the mind, but rather from the mind teaching itself. When the mind grasps the incomprehensible through symbols, be they mathematical formulas or the language of gods, it sharpens the lens of psychology to focus on the invisible persona of the human soul and the energy system that regulates its behavior in the world of non-time. Herein is the difficulty of the new psychology. It is based upon non-time, and here the mind is mute and blind. If you observe the Chamber 2 painting using the aforementioned technique, you will learn a new dimension of time. If you inspect the Chamber 3 painting, you will gain knowledge of a new dimension of inner space. If you study the Chamber 12 painting, you will discover a new dimension of energy. If you examine the Chamber 4 painting, you will be taught a new dimension of matter. All of this is encoded within these 4 paintings, but can be decoded through this technique. Remember, when applying this technique, the mind is a separate personality from the soul and is its instructor. In this example, the mind is the sail, the paintings the wind, and the soul the ship's hull. It is recommended to repeat this procedure for each of the 4 chamber paintings 3 times. During each dialogue between your mind and soul identity, record your key descriptors and look for the linkages between them. You are describing a dimension of time, space, energy, and matter that recedes into the incomprehensible. You will find a new confidence in your mind's ability to express the insights of the genetic mind after this technique is completed, and you will begin to feel an appreciation for the role of the new psychology where the mind acquires the incomprehensible to become the wholeness navigator, just as the caterpillar acquires the cocoon to become the butterfly.